Hello, everyone.
Hello, it's that time. It's time to get shaken or stirred. Grab that mocktail, cocktail, or no tail, because things are about to get a little bit spicy and interesting.
What are we drinking today, you may ask? Why are you laughing?
Oh, goodness. It never gets old.
Never. So today we're trying a new thing. We went to H Mart today.
Oh.
And we Kevin picked up a Taiwanese beer. Flavor is a lychee fruit beer. So let's give it a try.
Ooh, look at that pop. Ooh, look at that bubbling.
It smells so good. I love the smell of lychee.
I know, it smells so freaking good.
Salud.
Salud. It's so good.
So yummy.
Yeah, it's so sweet. What percent are we drinking today?
It is 3.5.
Okay, we're taking it chill today. Not bad.
All right.
Okay.
Today's theme.
Yes, we're talking about cheap habits. This can go a multitude of ways. I'm excited to see where we land here, but
Oh man.
yeah. What are some cheap habits, Ozzy, that you picked
What
up
are
along?
some of my cheap habits? Well, right away from today's productive day that you and I had earlier in the day, what cracked me up is when we were looking for parking, and I saw the meter parking right away, right, and I pulled into it. And then in my head, I'm like, wait, there's free parking in, like, the other cross streets. Why am I pulling into the meter? I'm like, I'm a little cheap. I'm gonna go look for parking even though there's clearly parking here. So that's one of my cheap habits. I'm not willing to pay for parking if I know I could find parking around the corner. And I'm willing to walk. I'm okay with walking. So
Yeah.
I'm not about to pay $3 to park my car for 30 minutes or an hour. It's not, no. That's one of my cheap habits. What's another one? Oh, this one I got triggered at one point.
What?
This person really triggered me. And I didn't really know this person either, but it was when I recently purchased my home.
Okay.
And we were talking about streaming channels. It was like an intimate group of maybe 3 or 4 people of us, right? We were talking about streaming channels, and HBO came up. I was like, oh, I don't have HBO. And this person goes, you have a home, but you don't have HBO? I was so triggered. And then
What?
I was taken aback. In my head, I'm like, I don't know you, first of all. You don't know me. And that statement, it struck a chord.
Yeah.
And I didn't rebuttal it. I just let it go. My
Yeah.
mom always taught me, if someone slaps you in one cheek, put the other cheek. You know, stay humble. And then, I don't know, the petty me, I wish I would have been like, well, maybe that's why I own a home.
Oh, burn! Should have put that one out there.
I should have, but my mama taught me better, and I didn't say anything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's...
Wow.
And I think the third one that comes to mind, I feel like anytime someone asks me for a restaurant or a bar recommendation, it's hard for me to come up with something because I know I could cook something at home and I'm going to save so much more money than going out to eat or doing whatever out, right? That's where I like being practical. I like saving my coins. I'm very much more in that mindset. Maybe that's why I do own a home. And I still don't have HBO.
Exactly. Damn. That's rough.
Right?
How does HBO and owning a home have any strong correlations there? Those are two different things.
It's like, sure, I could own a home, but I don't own HBO.
What if you don't like HBO?
So what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a little bit triggered.
I'm triggered with you right now. I'm feeling all riled up again. We shaking? I'm shaking.
You're shaking, we're shaking. What are your cheap tendencies?
Let's think. Oh. I say, okay, so this is going back to when we were younger, when movies was a thing. I really, really wanted to get snacks at the movies. But we all know we don't do that. We go to, wherever we need to go to pick up the cheap things from wherever else and get those snacks in, and you just bring that in. I mean, I still do that to this day. For example, those sports arenas, they be pricey. Ain't nobody need to do that. For example, if you go to like any shows too, same thing. Like if they're not gonna do a huge check on you,
Oh, for sure.
bring a bottle of water. Like you don't
Yeah.
need to go buy like a $10 bottle of water. Like
Agreed.
that's my cheap
That's
habit
outrageous.
there. Yeah. So that's one. The other is, as much as I love karaoke, I think like I've learned like, okay, these things can get really pricey. Depends on where you are. Like I think if you, when I was in K-Town in LA, it's cheap. Like it's fine. But I think like depends on, you know, your location and how much pricing is. I'm like, we have TVs, we can get speakers, we don't need a mic, we can play it on our TVs now. And so I think a couple of times at your house we did a little bit of like karaoke singing, and I was like, yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
We don't need to go out, pay some money for that.
Yeah.
No, we good. I think the other cheap habits, Kevin and I have been challenged sometimes just to keep things interesting, where we'll go for a walk, and yes, like we could go to a nice restaurant like at the end of our walk and say like, oh, you know, date night, whatever. Sometimes what we'll do is we'll walk and we'll go, okay, today's allowance per person is $10. We can walk anywhere we want. And we just need to be within the $10 range per person.
To buy food?
To buy food or like snacks, combine the two tens.
What are you gonna buy? A mango? A watermelon?
You could get a Safeway. You could get a sandwiches. You could do so much.
In-N-Out, actually.
Yeah.
A whole meal is about $10.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you start getting like a little bit more creative around keeping it a little interesting, but also staying within that range. I think the reason why we did this is because one, like, we can easily, I think San Francisco is such an expensive city that, yeah, like you want the best of the best. Yes, you can drop hundreds if you want for a meal. Easy. But then I think it just brings us back down and humbles ourselves of like, man, that 100 could do so much. So let's challenge ourselves and also try to save a little bit of money, because going out every single time and spending like 100 here, 100 there for two people in the hundreds range, right? After taxes, tipped, all of that, like it's a lot. Yeah, and it adds up quick.
It definitely does. And I think the reason why, and maybe the word cheap is maybe not the right word to use, because the reason why I am practical in some ways is because
I like the word practical.
I have an ultimate goal, right, of I need a purchasing power for whatever XYZ emergency in the future, and I'd rather have an allotted amount of money saved for a rainy day or a luxury vacation and wherever I want to go to, right? Like I need to be practical in some means in order to be spoiled in other means, and something that actually brings me a lot more pleasure. So for example, today when I was thinking of what I'm doing this weekend, I'm coming from the East Bay into San Francisco Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You know how many times I'm paying for the toll?
Damn.
That kills me every time, especially when I come on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So sometimes I even try to see how I could, should I take BART? Where am I going? Like I really try to assess the whole weekend or where I'm going to and what I'm doing in order to really optimize my spending power.
I see. That makes sense.
It's not because I'm cheap, it's because I'm trying to be practical in order to do other things in other ways, in order to really enjoy those things in the future.
Yeah. And I think that makes sense. So you're just being smart about your dollar, essentially.
Yeah.
Right? And what you're going to do with that.
I know it could go longer or better in another way. It could bring me more pleasure in other ways than, I don't know, having HBO.
Damn, that HBO, man, whoever that was. Forever,
Lord.
every single time I hear HBO, I'm going to be like, HBO equals a home. You don't got a home, that's why you don't got HBO.
Triggered.
I mean, okay, well, let's go into like traveling. As we were talking, I was thinking about it. When you travel, what are your practical tips or habits to stretch that dollar? Like what do you do? What are your, if you were to focus your dollars on a trip, where does it go?
I'm not practical. When I travel, I'm like, champagne bottles? Yeah, let's go. I mean, we did that in the last
I
trip,
know,
you know?
that was a rough one.
I'm not so practical. No, I don't think I'm. Maybe with water. My immediate instinct is get water.
Yeah.
You can't get tap water, especially not out. Like, no.
Depends on the where, but yeah, most of the times you want to be safe.
Yeah. Like, outside of the way, once I step out of the San Francisco Bay Area region, I'm like, I don't know where your water's coming from. Like, even in, like, Southern California, I'm like,
That's true.
Like, it doesn't have to be out of the country, because we have problems in this country with water.
Yeah, that's very true. That's true. I was thinking, like, if I were to put money on an experience versus housing, I end up going, like, hecka cheap on housing. I'm like, and it depends on the trip. I think our trip to Puerto Vallarta was a little bit different. I felt like it was just so spur of the moment. There was no moment to, like, rationalize anything.
Totally.
And it also was cheap. It was, like, actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
But, like, typically, I think, like, for me, it's, like, housing is the cheapest. That way, also, I rationalize it. Like, the trip is more about going out and exploring and doing more things.
Yeah.
So, if you're only going there to sleep, why would you, like, spend double, triple for a nice place? So, I rationalize it out and actually go a little cheaper on that side.
Not for me. I feel like the place where I have to stay at or sleep, I feel like it has to feel like an oasis in a sense, or like, bring me some sense of comfort to feel like I'm not in a stuffy room kind of thing. Like, this is not a vacation. Where I do try to be more practical is in regards to my mobility within that region. So I would rather walk than call for a cab or an Uber. That way I'm exploring
That's
the
a good
city,
one.
I'm exploring the neighborhood, and I'm not in an Uber spending my dollars when I know I enjoy walking. Like, why am I going to pay for an Uber if one, I'm going to walk, and two, at the same time explore the city?
That's true. I feel like that one I hold true in traveling, and even in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I think we're lucky that you can walk anywhere. And so just this week I had an appointment, a doctor's appointment, and honestly probably could have Ubered it, and I literally walked it. It's okay.
How long was the walk?
It was like a 46-minute walk.
Holy.
Yeah, that's one way, and you gotta come back. So and then the horrible part is I was being in, I don't know what was going on with my brain. I got the dates wrong, and so it wasn't even the right date. So I will have to repeat this walk.
You got
next
your
week.
steps in.
I got my steps in, but I will say, I was like, man, like, most people would just probably pay the $15-$16 to get there, and then the way back, or take public transportation and transfer. But I'm like, no, dude, I'll walk it. Like, I'll save those dollars. So people, I think amongst our friends groups, most of my friends know that I am an extreme walker to the nth degree. That, like,
I think it's hilarious when people give me the side eye when I suggest walking over calling an Uber. I'm like, what's wrong with walking?
That's what I'm saying. Like, come on.
I'm like, one, we're saving money, and two, this is good for our health.
And though it's not like it's raining dogs and cats. Like, we're fine. The weather's chill. It might be a little cold, but you dress warm for it. That's all good.
Right. So you're not cheap, you're practical. Where do you think you learned this from?
Good question. I think it is just the way that I was raised. We just didn't have a lot of money in the first place. And I mean, at one point we needed help and we had food stamps. I think I mentioned that at one point. And so when you think about that type of a upbringing, no, like, you don't want to be wasteful. Like, food, for example, like, I guess another practical habit is if you have food on the plate, or like if you have leftovers at a restaurant, I'm packing that to go, excuse you, right?
Oh, man.
Yeah, like, at the bare minimum, if I don't want to take it and eat it for myself, at least I want to then take it and give it to someone else, right? That's just being practical. Why waste it? Why wouldn't you throw it in the trash, right? So I think, like, a lot of that was, man, like, growing up, like, you couldn't even have any scraps left on your plate. It's like, where does money go on cheese? Like, come on, you got to eat all that food. And so a lot of that practicality around how to spend and be smart came from a lot of that, right? Eat at home to save money. Do not go out and eat.
Right.
So, I mean, it was just so ingrained in me that that's how I had to operate. And I still hold some of that today. I mean, that's probably why I don't know, like have
Yeah,
the means
it's
to.
in your fabric.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you have the means today, but it's just the way I had a similar upbringing. My parents had to be resourceful, right? They immigrated from their home countries because they had $0 to their name,
Yeah.
and they came here for a better life. So they had to figure it out one way or another and had to be practical in so many ways in order to achieve their dream. And look
Yeah.
at them now, like they own their own damn home.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Same.
in San Francisco.
Which is crazy.
I'm just like, if you did it, like, what am I doing with my life?
As you were talking, a couple of other cheap, or not, practical habits, practical habits.
Or resourceful.
Resourceful habits one is doing nails. I have never once gotten my nails properly done at a salon.
Mm-hmm.
No. Haircuts and hairstyling. Never once got it done. Never. Not a single one. Like,
See, as a woman with long hair, I have to go into the salon. Like, I have to go at least I tend to go every 3 to 4 weeks. But if I know I want to, like, look tip-top shape, at least every 2 weeks. But each haircut, my haircuts are not that expensive compared to where a lot of people go.
Yeah.
I pay $32.
Oh, that's actually pretty cheap.
And like the bougie hipster places, you pay anywhere north of like $60 or $80.
It's expensive.
That's expensive.
And that's for men's haircuts. Women's don't even get me started. It'd be a lot.
Yeah, no. Jesus.
Yeah.
One thing I have noticed about you, and Kevin I think gets on this hype too, you guys love deals.
Okay, I feel like deals. Okay, I'm like pretty good.
You're all for deals. Anytime you see a deal, you get really excited.
Okay, give me an example, because I don't.
Like today when we went to H Mart where we saw the box of chips, you were like,
oh yeah, because okay. I mean, we're munching on turtle chips. For those viewers who have not tried it, it's amazing. Go to H Mart, give it a shot. But Ozzy really wanted turtle chips. And I don't know, how much was this bag for?
I don't know.
Like, I don't know, maybe like $3.99, I think it was. And it's a larger family size pack, okay? Let's be clear. But we get around the corner and there's this big ass box, and they sell them little, like, you know.
Yeah, the personal packages.
Personal packages, right? And so that entire box was only $6.99.
Yeah.
That's worth it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you sure you don't want to swap that out?
Yeah, and then Kevin came around, you're like, should we take this for your sister?
True. When the deals are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Kevin is a little bit different. He'll get those real good coupons, you know? You know, what is that? There used to be a show is it on TLC or something like that? Where
couponing?
Yeah, couponing masters who literally only pay like 10 cents or nothing.
Yeah, literally.
That's like next level stuff.
It reminds me to an example of when I saw this with Kevin too. He might laugh, but when we were recording a podcast and you both were hungover. Are you remembering?
No.
And on that day, I forget what restaurant had a deal. Oh, it was KFC. I think it was free a free chicken sandwich.
Oh yes.
He's like, get on this, come on. And we all ordered it.
That chicken sandwich saved our souls that day.
Yeah. So it's like when these deals come up, it's like you're very much on. And what I would be on it too, but I just don't find them as easy as I feel like you two are very in tune with finding good deals.
I see.
Which is cool, but I feel like I never come across a good deal. I just buy it. Which is not, I'm not being practical in that sense.
Right. The other space that I am practical to is clothes. It is only until recently that I will pay regular price for things, and that's like because I just need it right now. Like I have no choice.
Yeah.
But I never used to buy anything regular price. You will find me living and breathing in the sale section. And then even that, like, and then, you know, like, I don't know. And I'd be like, nah, that's too expensive. We're going to wait until it goes down a little bit more, you know?
Sometimes you might laugh and people might think of me some type of way for doing this, but I will disclose anyways. If I see a piece of clothing that I like and it's full price and I think it's kind of too expensive for whatever that is, for what it is, I will get it, but if I'm not completely in love with it, what I will do is keep the price tag on it and see if I like it, if I like really does it suit me? Am I loving it?
Like, give it a couple days to fill it
Yeah.
out.
So you do something similar?
I mean, yeah, no, because, okay, when it's really, like, when it's regular price,
Yeah.
I'd literally go, like, I don't know. Like, I already was a little iffy about getting it, right? And it gut reactions with a lot of things is, like, you look at it and you're like, oh my God, I love it, right?
Yeah.
So you grab it. The problem is I've noticed some of the things that I buy after a week, I literally go like, oh, why did I get this? It doesn't jive with me anymore. And I don't know if is that called like fast, oh my God, what's the word? Fast fashion, you know? Like, I don't know if that's the causation for it, if it was my mood, whatever.
Is it just like a hot trend and it's gonna phase out in a sec?
Yeah, I don't know. And so for me, I do let it sit for a little bit so that I can process, and then I go like, no, that's I'm gonna keep that. I give it a moment. But some people are very much so, I notice, they'll just buy it and they'll be like, well, I don't know, and then keep the tags on.
Yeah.
There are friends that I've seen and that I've gone, and they legit have drawers full of clothes with tags on them.
Yeah.
I just can't process, because in my mind I'm like, there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
Tags are off.
For
like,
me,
these are like meant to be kept,
yeah.
and I've worn it.
For me, I primarily do it with jeans. As a short dude, it's really hard to come by a good pair of jeans that are gonna fit well with my body type, my height, etc. So and usually the price tag is on like the belt area, which is covered by your t-shirt. So no one's gonna see it, so whatever. But one day someone put their hand on my hip and they were like, what is this? I'm like, it's the price tag, leave it alone.
You're so funny. So you got caught.
Yeah, I got caught.
Dang.
But I was like, leave it. Like, I haven't made my decision
Look at you
yet.
swiping that hand out on his like, get out
Like,
of
get your hand off my hip.
I'm still feeling this one out.
I'm just like, see if it stretches in the right places.
No, because honestly, jeans, it's unfortunate because jeans can be so expensive.
Oh,
Yet,
yeah.
like, I had so many jeans that I would buy that ended up being like, you wear two hours and the jeans are half hanging off your butt. Like, what jeans are these? Like, they overly stretch.
Literally.
Like
yeah.
that, or like,
a lot of,
some don't even stretch at all. It's just too much. And you just spent premium price for that.
Right. And I'm not going to take off the tag knowing that this jean is going to stretch out at my hip and, like, it's going to look loose all of a sudden. Like, no, like, I want to return it.
Yeah.
It just, with jeans, I just can't.
Yeah.
It's not a risk there's no shame in my game. Like, I'm going to return this if it's not fitting well.
Yeah. I mean, I get you. Shoes are the same too. Like, at least within the house, I'll give it a shot and wear it a couple of days in the house. And it's okay. It's an Asian house, so no shoes in the house, but it's a brand new pair of shoes. You wipe it clean and then you walk it around. And then this allows me to see, like, okay, like, are the shoes going to slip off? Or is it too big for me? Is it too tight? So definitely do that with shoes before I officially keep them. Because, again, don't want to buy premium price for things. And also, shoes can be very expensive as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. And as you've recently learned, there's no shame in my game in buying dupes. Even if I have the real thing. even if I have the real thing, I am also gonna get the dupe if it makes economical sense.
Okay, but you gotta explain to the people what we're talking about, because people are not gonna fully understand what's going on here.
So, it's the latest trend that everyone has, right? That messenger bag, the Lululemon that everyone pretty much has. The fanny packs, the messenger bag, the crossbody bag that everyone pretty much has, right? I have a Lulu one, and it's cute, it's black, it's simple. I got it because I don't like putting stuff in my pockets. It's just my pockets.
It's also not good for you anyways.
Yeah, so I have that, right? I got it. It's cute, whatever. Trendy. Yay. But then Costco came out with the $15 one. I'm like, heck yeah. It looks pretty much the same.
It literally looks like exactly
it does the same thing, and it's $15. I got it. Like, whatever. But then your reaction made me just like, LOL.
Because for the people, what happened was, like, he'd be wearing this lovely fanny pack, and then I was like, oh my God, it's so cute, like the Lulu. It was to the degree I was like, oh, I kind of want to get one, right? And then all of a sudden, I do go to Costco, and it was the same wig, because I was like, oh, they have this one. But I was like, no, like, Ozzy's just gonna be like, oh, this is a knockoff version of the Lulu, you know? And I was like, nah, it's fine. I already have fanny packs. So the way that I rationalized that was I already have one. So who needs another one? So that's how I got myself out of it. That freaking same weekend shows up. Ozzy shows up in my place, and I go, oh my god, is that the
Is that the dupe?
Is that the dupe?
And you're like, why did you get the dupe if you have the real one? I'm like, why not? It's $15.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, it was hilarious. Yeah. But I respect that. I like the logic.
And it's Costco. Like, Costco's another good brand. Like, you can't diss Costco.
It is.
You can't.
Yeah.
Maybe it was another cheap version, like maybe that falls apart, maybe something that doesn't have a good return policy, yada, yada, yada. Then yeah, sure, maybe I wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah.
But it's Costco. You know? There's some sense to my madness.
Yeah. Everyone has And then I've seen him even today coming in with it, and I was like, so when are you wearing that Lulu?
I'm like, I've worn that for almost a year now. Let me switch it up a bit. No one notices anyways, right?
No, true.
Like, it's just a black mesh crossbody bag.
You know what? Honestly, it looks, from the distance, honestly, no one will see the difference.
No one knows the difference. Yeah. And nowadays, I feel like a lot of dupes, you can't tell the difference. Remember when we were PV and you were seeing all these designer bags?
Oh, yeah. They were just all sitting on the street, and I was like, that looks just like everything else. What is going on?
Yeah. So they're doing a really good job with dupes.
But are dupes good? I feel like that might be another topic that we need to talk about.
Why aren't they good?
For business. Like, if you were a small little business in the dupe, and then someone is duping you. Like a... Fair. One of the biggest things that I've seen is, like, Shak'n. Is it Shak'n? Mm-hmm. They are duping everyone else's stuff.
Fair. But their material is so cheap, it falls apart. Like, I remember one time, this was years ago, and this is why I stopped shopping at H&M, was because I was ironing one of their button-ups, and the iron just, like, burnt through the, like, the material. I'm like, what the is this? I'm like, I'm not shopping here again.
I kind of wish I saw that happening. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so you get what you get what you buy, you know? That's why with Costco, I'm like, I'm getting what I'm buying. Like, I know it's going to be something that's not going to fall apart and break on me.
Right, some quality is there. Yeah, it may look like the other thing, but...
So I feel like there's some companies, these high-end brands, they clearly overcharge.
Yeah.
And if you have the means to buy something, good for you. But if you don't, then get the damn dupe.
Yeah. Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever makes your pocket happy. I feel like I care more for my pocket than anything. And
that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I was taught to be practical, not stupid. Sorry.
That statement was so raw and real. One of these days we'll get some face recordings in, because these reactions are beautiful.
My facial expressions, yeah. So are you feeling shaken? Are you a little stirred?
Oh man, I'm gonna say shaken. No, I'm gonna say stirred. Stirred because it's interesting how we both have these practical habits, and how we picked them up. And I think it's interesting, and it makes me think about, like, okay, like, are there other ways that I can be more practical, especially with the current market environment? It's not, we should be all thinking about our finances a little bit more. It's not the safest time of our lives, right? And so I think this topic goes very much so in line with what the market is going through. And so I'm feeling a little, like, stirred around all of this. And I'm interested to hear from the audience, like, what are their practical habits? Maybe we need to learn and be educated on some other ones that we should add to our list.
Or can they learn from us?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Maybe you learned one or two things from us today.
Yeah.
What about you, Ozzy?
I'm not feeling so sorry.
You're not
feeling so practical. The drinks are
maybe
kicking
drink
in.
too much.
I'm not feeling so shaken or stirred, but you made a comment earlier about takeout or leftover food when you go out and eat, and how you take it to go. I feel a little shaken because typically if I have leftover food, I don't ask for it to go.
Oh, really?
Not because I guess you could think I'm a snob for it, but I just don't like reheating the food. It doesn't taste the same, and I know if I take it home, it's just gonna sit in the fridge for a week, and then I toss it out. I'm like, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just not gonna ask for it to go. And there was one time I think I was on I was on a date, and it was clearly leftover food. And they were like, "You're not taking that to go." I'm like, "No." Like, do you want it? Like,
Yeah.
that, it just made me feel so awkward. Like, I don't like no.
Yeah.
And yeah, that date went nowhere. But
Maybe that caused it. We don't know.
whatever. But yeah, no. Like, I feel like that. Like the fact that you do take it home, or yeah, you take it with you, and you're mindful of your leftovers. It just maybe. I'm grateful that I have the means that I don't have to resort to it, or I just know I'm not gonna eat the microwaved food.
Yeah.
And I don't even own a microwave.
Oh, that makes sense.
So like if I were to reheat food, I just use my stovetop, but that's another thing that I gotta comment on. Why don't you own a microwave?
Probably. The people are gonna be like, I don't get it.
The
You
only-
you have a home but you don't got a microwave? Oh goodness. HBO and now microwave.
In the last 3 years that I've been at my place without a microwave, the only reasons I would want to get the microwave would be to heat up tamales or dumplings. Those are the two reasons, because I've had those situations come up at home. I'm like, right now would be the best time to have a microwave.
Yeah.
And heating up dumplings or tamales on the stovetop
Takes a minute, yeah.
and it just doesn't taste the same. It gets like the masa gets like all mushy. And then with the dumpling, it's just not the same on the stovetop. So like I need, like the tamal clearly needs to go back into in the microwave, and with dumplings I should probably get those baskets where you steam them, and that would be the better way to do it, right? But microwaves is just the easiest way to do it.
So we know what we need to get at Ozzy for his
No, not getting a
Christmas.
microwave. It's just not aesthetically pleasing in my current setup.
Yeah, okay.
You know, like that's what I'm going for in my place, my current situation.
Right.
A microwave, no, like I don't need it.
Practicality.
Anyways, I went on a little rant there.
Passion around microwaves.
All right, beautiful people. Hopefully, y'all have microwaves.
Maybe you won't have this issue with the
Or maybe
tamales
you
and the dumplings.
don't need one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right. Well, goodbye.
Have a good one.